Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Ant PTV. This is my daily vlog where I can take a coffee break, chat with you about helpful topics that'll make your life better, my life better, all of our lives better. Things that have really impacted me emotionally, financially, spiritually, intelligently, and hopefully they'll help you too. Today we're going to talk about doing what's right for you and how to not give a shit about what people think. So, one of my biggest challenges in life has always been fear of rejection and fear of what people might think about what I'm doing. So that might seem hard to believe because I've always been someone who does a lot of crazy things and public things, like I was in a band growing up, so I've always been in front of people, and I make these videos, for people. So always in front of the camera, in front of many people's eyes. So it might seem like that I don't care about, being rejected or what people might think, but it's the exact opposite for me. I've always been afraid of what people might think, and I've always let it affect my behavior. Everything that I've done coming up in life has been with people's perception of me in mind, and it's been positive in some ways, but mostly negative. It's negatively affected me, and I know I'm not the only one. You might feel that way. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people, most people, are so afraid of what people might think of them that they don't accomplish anything that they really want in life, or that they, deep down desire, or any of their childhood dreams, because of fear of what people might say. Most of the people that you're afraid of are the people closest to you, your closest friends, your parents, your family, your husband or wife, So, how do you overcome that? How do you get past that? Well, I was reading a book the other day. None of these are just books I have sitting here. A book called, it's an essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson called Self-Reliance. And in that book, I've read it before, but reading it the other night greatly impacted me. It made me realize that some of the biggest regrets I have in life are things that were done or things that were said by someone else that I thought before they ever said it or did it. You might have felt this. You might have thought of a really cool invention or product or project idea, and then you see an infomercial for it. Or here's a great example. When I was a kid, I might have been nine years old. Let's say I was 9. I thought of the inline skateboard. So like rollerblades, right? But with a skateboard. Now you've seen these already. They're the flow boards with like one wheel on front and one wheel on the back, and you go like that with them, and they like take you. That wasn't like, I didn't think of it that in depth because I was only 9, but I did think of an inline skateboard with just 2 wheels. And I already started to draw it out and tried to invent it. I didn't have the wherewithal to put it out into the universe. Someone else did. But I remember being a kid, it wasn't the flowboard, but I saw another version of an inline skateboard on the internet when I was probably 9 or 10. Almost a year later, after I first thought of the idea. And I was so hurt because someone else had the idea and someone else was profiting from the idea. And in Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay, Self-Reliance, he says, I'm paraphrasing, but he says, when someone puts out an original thought, I'm super paraphrasing, when you're able to deliver an original thought, that is true genius. What is inmost eventually becomes outmost. Whatever your original thought, the universe will eventually bring it forth, whether by you or someone else. That's a huge paraphrase. I apologize if you're a huge Emerson fan, so am I. I just can't think of the line right now. Basically, someone else will speak your truth if you don't speak it. And you will have to accept it as truth in shame, knowing that it was your truth first. So what you need to realize is that you are already the expert of your own human experience. You know you. You know the world through your perception. So anything you think is legitimate. Anything you feel is legitimate. It's as legitimate as any other fact in life. Think about it this way. Jesus, Gandhi, Abe Lincoln, their greatest thoughts, Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Their greatest thoughts came from the exact same place that your thoughts come from. The way that they had their first great thought is the exact same way that you had your first great thought. All of your thoughts that are original, that you think are too crazy to be believed, that you think are too far-fetched or too unrealistic for people to support you with, those are the very specific thoughts that you need to put out into the world. Otherwise, any other thought that you put out into the world is just a half-truth. That's just a half representation of yourself. So you'll never be supported. You'll never be treated as great. You'll never be respected as another one of these great people in the world. Oprah, Tony Robbins, Warren Buffett. Because you're only putting out half-truths. If you're saying something that someone else has already said, you're just echoing text. You're echoing laws. You're echoing history. You'll never get the respect that you deserve because you're only presenting a half version of yourself. The craziest thoughts that you have are your truest form, your truest self. And the reason why you're legitimized in saying them is because you are the expert of your own human experience. You don't need someone to validate you. Your thoughts and your emotions exist, and you might have thought them, but the universe gave them to you to think. Your brain was formed just like everyone else's brain was formed. Your thoughts are not your own. Your thoughts belong to the universe, and whether you choose to procure them or not is on you. But eventually someone else will procure them, and eventually those thoughts and concepts and philosophies or projects will be created. Those products, inventions will be created by someone else. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but eventually someone will make your thought happen. And you will have to live in shame of the truth that was your original thought, and you let it go. So if you want to be a great person, or if you just want to put something out into the world, you want to be respected by others, then you need to be your original, true, unadulterated self. That is self-reliance. That's what you need to understand in order to get past the idea of being afraid of what people might think of you. They might not accept you, but most people are idiots, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people accept you. People are driving by. People are on their phones blowing right past you. People are scrolling past you on the internet. They don't care already. So you might as well put out truth. The more truth that you put out, the more attention that you will demand and command. So I'm not just talking about what you post on the internet. I'm talking about everything, every interaction that you have with the universe, every interaction you have with your sister, your cousin, your best friend, your mom, your teacher, your boss. If you let them exist without hearing your truth, you're doing them a disservice. Think about it this way. Say your sister comes to you with a problem. She says, "Hey, Susie," whoever you are, John, my life is going like this. And she starts spewing out a whole bunch of stuff about how crappy her life's going. And you're just like, "Oh, just hang in there. It'll get better." But deep down, you know exactly what she needs to do. She needs to get off of her ass and go apply for a job, or she needs to join a church, or she needs to start going to yoga class down the street, or she needs to go with you to the gym. And you don't give her that in that Self-Reliance book by Emerson. He says that electric shock of truth. Think about like you have the truth, and there's shock pads to revive her from the catatonic state that she's in, this paralysis of negativity. You've got the shock pads in your hand. You're rubbing them together. But instead of using them on her, you're just like, "Oh, don't worry. Just hang in there. You'll be all right." Or you're just like, "Oh, yeah, that really sucks, And then you just let it go. You have the revive in your hands. You have the solution. You need to give her that shock wave of truth. It might hurt her. It might suck to say because it might make you feel like you're a bad person. But you know that the formula, the solution, is in your hand. It's the shot that hurts to put into the vein, but is the only cure. So you need to be that shockwave of truth for the people around you. You need to be that shockwave of truth for the world. And, electric shock. That electric shock to revive the people around you, to wake them up from the false truth that they're living. However large that volume may be of false truth. Some people might just have a few little things that you go on without telling them. Say, for example, my roommate doesn't know how to cook chicken, and I'm watching him cook chicken. Imagine I just let him cook the chicken without knowing how to do it. And he maybe undercooked it and ate it, and or gave it to his girlfriend and she ate it and it was undercooked. And I just sat there and watched him and like, man, you're doing a good job. I need to give him that. It might hurt me to have to go out and say, hey man, like maybe you should try doing it this way. But truthfully, I'm saving him from embarrassment. I'm saving him from a stomach ache, from salmonella. And giving him the solution, the formula for making great chicken every time. So just keep that kind of thing in mind. Good and bad, right and wrong, it's all very subjective because how you feel inside is legitimate. How you feel is validated. If something feels bad, it is bad. If something feels good, it is good. If something feels wrong, it's wrong. If something feels right, it's right. Don't question it. Don't wonder. Don't ask others for their opinion because they don't know either. We're all trying to figure this life thing out together. Fortunately, we do have paths. I said that in my last vlog. Fortunately, we do have guides, roadmaps, and you can get those from reading books, finding mentors, getting programs and courses that will teach you how to do whatever you want to do. That's the cool thing about humanity is that we have this communication. You have to have self-reliance. You have to believe in yourself, so that is super critical. That's a super huge part of getting over your fear of rejection, your fear of what people might think of you if you say or do something that you really want to say or do, or that you feel inside. Don't question yourself. Trust yourself. You are the master. You are the expert of your own human experience. You are the universe. You are the truth. You are truth. You exist. Your thoughts already exist. Don't disqualify them. They were already created. They were already born. So I hope that this helps you. These are just my ideas on how to overcome that fear that I've faced my whole life, and I'm finally doing that, I think, now more than ever, and over the past few years more and more. When I quit my job as a hairstylist and went into business for myself and worrying about what people might think, when I had to go back to a hair cutting job because I ran out of money from my last business and I was afraid of what people might think. And then I quit that job again to go back into business when I got back on my feet. And again, I was worried what people might think. My entire music career has been influenced by what people might think. What type of music I make is influenced by what people might think. And eventually I just got tired of it and thought, you know what? I'm the master of my own human experience. I know me and I know the world because I know me. And so what I think and what I see and what I believe is as true as what anyone else thinks or believes, if not more so, because I have the ability to execute on it. And the more I put out into the world, that's why I make these videos, because the more I share my thoughts and beliefs, the more they become legitimized, the more they become true, because then you watch it and you agree or disagree, but whatever you agree on, now we both have that putting out that thought that's being leaked out into the universe. The more of you that watch this and the more of you that think the same thing I think, we're all creating this movement, this concept. Why was Jesus so powerful? Because his thoughts that he expressed, his actions and his behaviors were magnified by everyone's belief. And that continued to perpetuate because of how original they were. If Jesus came out and was just echoing the same thing that all the religious texts already said, we wouldn't even know who he was today. But he didn't. He came out and said groundbreaking, revolutionary things that we carry and echo to this very day. So keep that in mind. You have the ability to change the world and shift the world in any way you want. Why? Because you are the world. You are the universe. You do have the power. You have it within you. If you don't know what it is yet, read some books. Get some mentors who you admire, who you want to be like 20 years from now, and ask them. Follow them around, model them, interview them. If you don't know how to do the technicalities, go buy a course online, go to college and take some classes, buy some more books and read them. You have the powers to acquire, and you have the validation, the legitimacy of original creative thought. Go do it. Go put it out into the world. It's amazing what we're able to accomplish. Just look around you. Everyone's accomplishing amazing things all around you right now. So yeah, I hope this is inspiring. I hope it helps you. I got to get back to work. I finished my coffee before I even started recording this, so I don't even have any more coffee on me. I have it inside. That's why I'm so freaking wired right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this discussion, please do smash that like button, thumbs up below, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Definitely let me know what you want to talk about in the next video. There's no topic we can't cover. I love you so much. I hope this helps. Stay in touch. Till next time. Peace.